नमस्ते फादर।
नमस्ते नमस्ते। Want to sing anything? You sing something?
जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं, जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं। तो सो प्रीत तोड़े कृष्णा कौन संग जोड़ूं। तो सो प्रीत तोड़े कृष्णा कौन संग जोड़ूं। जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं, जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं। तुम भये तरुवर मैं भई पखियाँ, तुम भये सरोवर मैं भई मछियाँ। तुम भये गिरिवर मैं भई चारा, तुम भये चंदा मैं भई चकोरा। जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं, जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं। तो सो प्रीत तोड़े कृष्णा कौन संग जोड़ूं। तो सो प्रीत तोड़े कृष्णा कौन संग जोड़ूं। जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं। तुम भये मोती प्रभु हम भये धागा, तुम भये मोती प्रभु हम भये धागा। तुम भये सोना हम भये सुहागा। मीरा कहे प्रभु ब्रज के वासी, मीरा कहे प्रभु ब्रज के वासी। तुम मेरे ठाकुर मैं तेरी दासी। जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं, जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं। तो सो प्रीत तोड़े कृष्णा कौन संग जोड़ूं। तो सो प्रीत तोड़े कृष्णा कौन संग जोड़ूं। जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं, जो तुम तोड़ो पिया मैं नहीं तोड़ूं।
Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Who has a question? Yeah. Yeah. Etienne can come.
Namaste.
No.
I have not prepared anything, but I'm just feeling to share an insight which is becoming more clear right today, actually. And so I feel it's good to speak it, to try to formulate it. You hear me well?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's actually an ongoing process of recognition that is going for years, of course, because it is linked with identification with the mind. Although we are shown to identify from the mind, I was actually always fascinated by the display and the many paths
Don't worry. Take your time.
in the mankind, which are surely leading to the same place, but in so different ways. And so this fascination is lived, is experienced, and so I've been kind of trying to drive several cars at the same time, or yeah, and always noticing it doesn't work, but still being so curious to feel each one. I couldn't do. I'm just thinking of Ramakrishna, who did it fully, one at a time. I couldn't do that. I was too much mind, or whatever. It is just the way it is. And but I was watching it all along. It is fascinating, but it doesn't work, and this ongoing process. And I'm still watching it somehow. And what is appearing I'm not sure I will catch it. Yeah. It was clear before, but I somehow know the response, the conclusion of it, but it's not this way I want to express it. It is felt in a new light. Maybe it's a bit early, but I've wanted to share with you about this. Maybe it is very much linked with the image which is so deeply talking to me of the kitten, which is held by the mother. And on one hand, what has been experienced a lot is it comes from what has been experienced came from an identification, as I said, with the mind, but with a super mind, a mind which has to conquer the mind, the mind which conquers the mind. And I know it is not wrong. No, only the way, the grasping way, feels to be dropped more and more, because this is the many cars which I cannot drive, and I see more and more that all is seen from the same point of view, which is not a point of view, which is just the presence. And so this is seen in a new light. This is just felt differently, and I was longing to express these things simply like this, but I was too fascinated before to just sum it up like this. I was too committed, or not committed, too attracted, and I don't find the English word when you are between different directions, just too scattered, to see it quietly. I was more in a duty which was never fulfilled, and now it's dropping by the grace of the insight of what I really want to share is peace and not knowledge, because the peace is the source of everything. There is no correct insight without being quiet, and I fully see this being quiet is not even being in the position of the kitten, is just being quiet. And yeah, I guess that's it for today.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I feel so much the invitation of sharing is helpful for this insight also, because I've been sharing with myself a lot, but it's not the same, and it's not as joyous as and as flowing, and it doesn't give the trust, because there is always still the me somewhere, and when we share with another, the me is very quickly in the way, and so that is a blessing. So thank you so much for the heart temple movement.
Very well. Very sweet. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. The ways to the truth are so many. But the truth itself is universal. And every way is meant to make us innocent and simple, so that we can, in our innocence, meet His presence within ourselves. And whether we are in the quest to find this presence, or we have met it, we can be with it. Our intention, our attempt should only be to remain in the light of this presence, or to find the scent of this and to keep going deeper and deeper, following His scent, His perfume, His fragrance within ourselves. And then, like the beautiful words of the bhajan, the sage said, if you want to leave, you can, but I will never leave you. That must be our only intention. I will never leave His light, His presence. So ultimately, like he said very nicely also, that there could be so many different ways, but we must let go of our me, the false self, and remain in the innocence of a child, without the pride of knowledge, in His light. And every true path must lead to Him alone, to this alone.
Yes, thank you. It's yeah, you confirm so much. What I felt is really, although we know we are still identified with the me, it takes some time to feel the heaviness of it fully. And because we can understand very quite quickly when we are explained as well as we are in the Advaita, that we cannot be this mind, but still the fascination for even for spirituality as a whole display of insights, of different qualities, and even if when we identify with humanity, we are still a super me, loving a huge projection actually, and this has been fantasized here quite a lot, and what you're saying is exactly what is felt that ultimately only peace is what is in peace, and clarity are one, and surrender. It cannot be a grasping or a super duper, as Guruji says, super duper consciousness. This is the dream of a refined spiritual ego or something like that. I just feel it's a dream. It's still seen as a projection for some future, and it's not food. It's not peace. It's not peace. Not food. Not food, but not peace. It's not clarity either. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Sylvia.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, it's nice to talk with you again. It's been a while. So yeah, last night I had a beautiful dream with you and Guruji, which doesn't happen so often, and I felt so much love, and I felt a calling to come to speak with you. I don't particularly have something to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not maybe. Yeah, this prayer to be fully open to God.
Do you feel that something that you can spot gets in your way?
Yes. Like you say, moment to moment, to spend time with God. Sometimes like this liar voice tricks me to get into maybe self-image or pride or projection, like this sensation that I'm a me, and immediately I become, it's this sensation that of selfishness, or
Yes. So when you say sensation, what do you mean sensation of selfishness?
like there is a suggestion of mind which feels smelly somehow, but the action, like in day-to-day action, sometimes it's like I act upon this suggestion, which I don't know, just
Yes. So do you
to
feel,
not be fully.
yes. So do you feel that the seeming distance from God's presence is created when the action is taken based on the suggestion from the mind, or is there something in the middle that happens before that?
In the middle.
So what is that? So the suggestion comes from the mind. It says, go here, do this is right, this is wrong, all of these things. And then subsequently there's an action. What is the step in the middle?
I would say I or yeah. Yeah.
You mean that there's a sense of I, an individual I that seems to get created?
Yeah. And like recently I saw this thing, this strong unspotted sensation that like I have like a interior somehow, like a private emotional life or something like inside, which it's not true actually.
So how does this I, the individual ego, seem to come alive? And that is what we must stop, isn't it? Because that is, if that is what blocks us from living in God's light, then that is what must stop.
Um, I'm not sure that I fully heard your question, but
Okay, so let's go
you
through this together. We can try this together. A thought may come. Suppose the thought says, lift your right hand, you see, and you take that action of lifting the right hand. You see, at which point did you create the false me? Or at which point does the false me seem real?
when you believe, like you give your power to this, into you give life.
Yes. Now, can there be any thought which forces us to give this power? That the thought makes a suggestion or a command, whatever. Can it force you to believe it? Is any thought powerful enough like that?
No.
So, when we buy into that thought, we are taking the only room that is there within our house and we are giving it to the me. We say that yes, there is a me like this and the house belongs to this me. When we let this thought come and go, then the house remains empty for God. So we must take the instruction very literally that the lane is too narrow. There can be either God or me. You see? And if no thought actually has the power to force you to believe in the me, then somewhere we make that choice. You see? To be egoic rather than godly, to be personal rather than universal. You see? So it is for this that we need spirituality. All of spirituality is so that we don't take ourselves to be individualized in this way, so that our inner space remains sacred Let me mute everyone else. So that our inner space then remains empty and sacred for God's light to be found and to be lived in. You see? So those moments where God's presence is here, those are the moments that we can call life. You see? The rest of all the moments between birth and death are all death anyway. So we must endeavor to lead a true life, because that is the most important endeavor, the most important gift, the most important pleasure, and we must not waste the opportunity day after day to not find and to not live in His light. Yeah? And the mind is very good at providing reasons. Oh, today this happened, today that happened, today there was some work, today the body was not well, today I was very upset with something, today I had a problem in my relationship, today there was some important news. So every day goes like this. And we may regret it at the end of our life that we did not truly use even a single day. We did not use even a single day to live fully in God's light. And if that is all that we truly want, then that is the simplest thing actually. But it is because we want, we fall into the trap of Maya, which tells you that other things are important, that we let go of this holy opportunity every day. So every time the waking state arises, it is an opportunity to be with God, to live in Atma Darshan, to live in Atma Gyan. Every time the waking state arises. And what happens? This is what I mean when I say the battle is for time. The whole day goes in something or the other, and God is forgotten, even for those of us who are spiritual, so-called spiritual. But if you were to truly make our life only about the truths, only about His presence, then it would not be difficult. But it is the trap of egotism that is laid by the mind through the sending of these thoughts, which are well designed to tempt us, to make us believe that we are somebody individual. And this we must let go of, even if it seems difficult. We must transcend, so that finally it is His light that shines through in our life. Please know that I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that our life is not life. It is a zombie life. It is a dead life without His light. I have no reason to exaggerate or to lie. And I want to hear this from all of you as well. that you can taste the difference between living an egoic life and a life of God's light, of God's presence. But if you're going to surround even your spiritual search with self-concern, with what about me? Am I finding it? Am I finding God? No, you cannot, because as long as you are there, He is hidden. You must get out of the way. You don't exist. That one doesn't exist. So it is not important. So at what point will we really make a full attempt to only live in His light? Is it? When will that day come where our true intention is to only live in His light? Because when that is our only intention, that is our only desire, then because Maya is such a strong trickster, then our life will seem like it is lived midway between God and the illusory realm of Maya. But if you say that, yes, I'm going to do a bit of this and a bit of that, and also balance my life with spirituality, then it's not going to happen. At best, you will have a few moments, if that is His grace. But that is not a worthy life worth living. Okay, all good. So we need to put God at the center of our story. And the mind has many, many rationalizations, reasons why we don't do that day after day. But I tell you that none of those reasons are ever justified. None of those reasons are ever true. It is just delaying tactics. And those who realize that this is true, then are looking for some reasons to make it, make themselves feel like, oh yes, but I couldn't help it. You see, because this happened or that happened, so I couldn't be with God today because this happened. My mind was too active, my emotions were on overdrive, my life was topsy-turvy. And if that is all it takes, that some perceptions have to start shaking for us to leave God's hand, then the words of the bhajan are not true. That I will not leave you, come what may. The rest is your business. Whether you leave me or not is your business. The words may seem very simplistic, but there's a depth there. That is the commitment that we need to make. And that is why faith is so important. Why must it be that one man has to come thrice a week and tell you that you must be with God? Huh? Because we somewhere have the potential to make God into a work of fiction. just a conceptual idea. You see? But if you lived in faith, which means that you trust your intuitive insight, you trust what the Sadguru presence is showing you, then who would ever want to exchange his presence for some personal narrative, some story? Who would ever want to do it? Is it? So I can only keep reminding you that the one whose presence is within yourself is the highest. He is the one. And if you really relied on your heart inside, you would see that this is true. Then you would never want to exchange. So don't make your spirituality also about the false one. Just start on a fresh slate, empty right now. Leave all narratives, leave all stories. They will not help you. There is a being whose presence you call I am. That being is the presence of God. All you have to do to be with that holiness, wholeness, is to get over your false self. But the mind is the machine of stubborn refusal, to get over yourself. It always finds 100 good reasons, 100 good excuses to not let go. Is today going to be the day? Is now going to be the moment where you say that, come what may, I will not leave you, God. Is this going to be the moment? Or you tell me how many lives later we should meet? When will you be done with your stuff? When will your projects be done? Let's set a date and then I meet you then. Because this is for all of you and not just for Sylvia, but
Yes, Father, yeah, yes, yes. So it doesn't feel to make promises, just to say yes to what you say.
yes, very good, very. Now, Once this part becomes clear to all of you, then our questions can become also very direct, in the sense that I try to live in God's light, but this is what gets in the way. Do you have something to offer in terms of assistance to make sure that, or to help me so that this, whatever gets in my way, doesn't get in my way? Once the project is clear, that is to live a life in God's light, that is to live a life in the truth of self-discovery, in the reality of self-knowledge, then we say, yes, what happens is, I wake up in the morning, I want to start by living in God's presence, but the mind attacks me with 100 ideas about things to do or something like that. Or you say that whatever gets in the way of your leading a true life, that's how then the flow of satsang can become very straightforward and direct. Because I realized I had a conversation yesterday, and I realized that I speak so much and about so many things that for many of you, even the project is not clear. Even what we are doing here is not really clear, because maybe I just speak too much, as I'm doing now. So is what we are doing here clear after all that I said? What are we doing? He said, make space for God, make room for God, and to remain in His presence. And His presence, the recognition of the Absolute, is all but apparent. There is no struggle involved. So if this is the project, how can I be of service to all of you? That should be what the question is about, or the questions are about. If all of us lived 1 minute away from the greatest gift that we could ever receive, that resolves everything in our life, all of us lived 1 minute away from that, you see? But we refuse to turn in that direction, live in that way, or go towards that. Then what would be the best way to guide all of you to that, which is so close and yet seems so far? And the nature of Maya is to make this into a time loop, Groundhog Day. So I've already had this conversation for 12 years, and maybe it'll happen for the next same number of years or whatever number of years. I don't know. But what stops the next 12 from being just like the previous 12? When do I see you like really because what I'm saying is very stark. No? I'm saying that you're not living, and the only way to live is to be in His light. Is it? And yet I'm not able to make it your only priority somehow. What else do you need to hear to break through the spell of Maya, the hypnosis of Maya? No?
So much I can relate what you're saying, Father, with what I am talking to my daughter. Right? She wants to study but cannot study something, and in her something is there in her mind saying that okay, I want to do it, but somehow I'm pulled towards a computer or what. Same exactly you are asking me to do same thing.
Yes.
What is it? Just I want it. She also want to study. I also want to be in. I can only say I will put my best efforts there, Father.
Yes. It is that best effort which is needed. It is our intention is to put our best foot forward. You see? And Maya, because she's a super trickster, will make that into some half mangled thing. You see? But if our intention itself is to juggle, is to balance, then it will become minuscule. It will not be anything at all. You see? So this is the battle in some sense. Because Maya is not going to let go of you that easily. You want God, is it? Okay. Please carry on. That is not the design of Maya. She is going to fight tooth and nail to make you back into the me, back into selfishness, back into pride, back into being somebody and somebody special. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. May everything that is here, yeah, by the grace of God, be cleared up if it's his will and His timing.
Very good. Sorry. Bless you. Bless
Thank you.
you. Let's go to Kesha. Hello.
Hi. Pride has kept me from coming up for a while. Not because I feel like that it's felt that I'm living in God's light and don't need to come up, but that I feel like I haven't been living in God's light and have been hiding in that. And pride is, the pride has kept me there. So, can you hear me, Father?
Yes, okay. I just got feedback that my volume is very low. Is that true?
Yeah, you're speaking. I think it's just your voice.
The speaking. Okay.
Yeah.
So, very good. So there's a pride which can come, you're absolutely right, in terms of when we are thinking that we are living in the light of God. You see? When we think we are living in the light of God, then that pride is called spiritual ego, because it's just thinking. Yeah?
No, I don't think I'm
Yes. So
living
I'm
there.
saying that there's another type of pride, which is that I'm not living in the light of God, and yet I'm right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I have the valid reasons,
Yeah.
I know what is right and wrong, what is good and bad, what is fair and unfair, and I have done all that evaluation, and I'm not living in God's light, and yet still I'm right. Because these are the reasons. So that is the other form of pride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's really just unbearable, it's such an inner war, and pride is, it's the cause, and I'm not reaching out for true help from you, and I'm actually looking for more reasons to stay there in pride and darkness, and because my reasons of pride seem more important than letting them go.
Yes.
And I don't want to get stuck there.
Yeah. Because suppose that you were right or you are right about everything. Huh? Suppose you are right about everything. Each of you are fully right about everything that you are thinking and believing. And then you die. What's the point? And what is the use?
Sounds like hell.
You see? No, I'm saying that suppose there was a way that your thoughts could become true. Like you have a unique siddhi. You see, you have a unique superpower. You are the only ones for whom your thoughts are actually true. They are not limited, they are unlimited universal truth. You see? So you ended up believing all of them, and everyone else in the world that you meet, you could say, I'm right. I'm right. I know I'm right. Even my master has told me I am right. You see, suppose you could do that throughout your life. You see? And then it's over. It's over. So what would be the point of that life?
No point. It goes in death. There's no point. It's gone.
Exactly. So we must make sure that we are picking the right turf. You see? The right turf. Because if our turf is going to be in the mind, in the intellect, about good and bad, right and wrong, all of these things, then we are falling for the most primitive trick that the mind has to offer. So instead, we must not be concerned about any of that. We must drop all the self-concern and really like a fish gasping for water, with that kind of urgency, get into the dogged pursuit of God. Don't waste a moment on things which are not about that. Otherwise, Maya, the great seeming, will trap you, it will trick you. It will say, oh, here, see? Oh, here, see? Oh, here, see? But all this see is Maya, it's a great seeming. It has nothing to do with anything. So don't let the dream distract you from God's reality. It's very important, and it's all right. In fact, I'm less concerned when you tell me it seems like a war, and I'm more concerned when you tell me that, yeah, it's easy. I'm always in God's light. What's the next topic for satsang today? Because that's so because the first pride is much more troublesome than this second one. You see, because the second one is actually built on very frail ground. The first one can be built on the words of satsang itself, or the words of which are pointers to the truth itself. So that pride is something that only grace can fix, because words will not work anymore, and it blocks the presence anyway. So and if it feels like a bit of a struggle, that's why I was saying that satsang at some level should feel like you had a workout at the gym. And if it starts to feel too comfortable, then I'm starting to get a bit concerned about which way my words are being heard, and whether they're being heard at all. You see, because if all this stuff that you're noticing now does not come to your light, and you're living in some complacent sort of idea that yes, it's all fine, all is good, I am pure awareness itself, which is true, but that must be discerned by the master based on the fragrance that you emanate, that all of you emanate. Then I will not have any reason to be concerned at all. So nothing would give me more joy than if it was true that all of my sangha is so fully open and empty that we don't need to speak about pride, servitude, faith, humility, all of these things. But that is not what my heart is telling me. And it tells me that the teacher himself is a beginner and a serious work in progress. So that is very apparent. So we're all in this together in that way.
Yeah, Father. And when I get lost in that and try to make a home there, and keep giving reasons why to live there, it's like I try so hard to pray and pray and pray and pray, and then but also to stay there at the same time, and that doesn't work.
Yes. So what does that prayer look like?
It's an offering. It's an offering when it's a I don't know what to do, where to go, and it's just saying, God, look, you see this. I'm not hiding what this is. I'm not hiding this conditioning, and can you just look at it and see it? And I don't know what else to do at that point.
Yes.
But to offer it up so clearly.
So when we offer it up, then in those moments you don't want to live there, you don't want to be right, you don't want to build your house there. But then you revert back to that mode. Is it? Okay. Yes. So that is bound to be a very difficult roller coaster, isn't it? That you have moments of sheer surrender where you're saying, because it requires noticing first ourselves, doesn't it? To be able to offer it to God. So then at least we're not living in la la land anymore, saying, oh, I'm so sorted, where are my disciples? You see? You're not living in that kind of la la land. You see? So to bring it to God with integrity requires us to notice truly, which is very, very good. So then it is the nature of the mind, of course, to tempt you back in. You see, as soon as you're done communing with God, being with God, it is the nature of the mind to try and pull you back into the me and how the me is right and all of the narratives that it has. You see, and you see what it does also is that it is already blocked. You see, it is already blocked. Like it preempts and says, okay, now I knew you will say, but what about God? But I knew, you see, I knew you will say, like for years I heard this response saying, I knew you will say, who is I? Who am I? You see? So over the years, so many I've heard that I'm not going to bring this to you because I knew you would say that. You see? I used to say, okay, so then, okay, what do you want this conversation to be? Should we just lie? Should we just lie? Will that be better? And then the rationalization comes, but apparently you lie with so many others. Why can't you lie with me? You see? How is it that you don't want to lie only with me? You see, I've seen you talk to other children who live in Bangalore, and you are okay to lie with them. So why can't you lie with me? You see the absurdity of all of it, and how the mind value judgments are just the other way around. You see, so if it was true that this expression of Ananta was this way, you see, and he told the truth only to one of you, and he just told lies and spoke lies to everyone else. Which one would you rather be? The one, though you would want to hopefully be the only one that he is telling the truth to, isn't it?
Yeah, Father.
So it's very important that we don't fall for the mind tricks, confuse the value judgments which the mind has on offer. You see? And if whoever, actually it doesn't even have to be your master, whoever points you to God, reminds you of God, we must touch their feet and bless them. We must bless them. We must be so grateful that we are caught up in some narrative which is soon going to die. Instead, we are pointed to the eternal being, to the only living water, to the only life there is.
Father. Father, when I'm in my heart and seeing clearly, like, your love, I sense your love so deeply, in those moments, and it doesn't matter externally what happens, and but when there's pride and selfishness, I totally take you for granted and limit you being in my life, and I know that.
Yes. Yes, and this is a very common human condition. No? That's why I was saying that going back to that instance of people saying, "Oh, I knew you will say, but who are you?" Now, because what happens because in that question, you see, the false narratives, the false stories all have to drop away. Then the mind resists and says, oh, but when Giri asked you the question, you talk to him about all kinds of things and things. You didn't say, who am I? You see, how is that fair? So this is the absurdity of the mind, saying that, okay, I know you're pointing me to a greater truth, but I want to continue the illusion, the delusion. So meet me at a level which doesn't break my narratives, doesn't help me to let go of my ego.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know. Guilty of that.
All of us are. All of us.
Father, I just don't. I don't want to die and keep treating you like a person, because I've tasted that. I've tasted
So
the impersonal and the.
Yes, but I am going to change your project also, this one also, because it's not that urgent. This one is not even as urgent as I want it to be. It's like there's a dream full of ghosts. You see, there's a dream full of ghosts, and what is most important is to snap out of the dream and come to the true reality of God. If we still talking about, okay, the way I see this ghost or the way I see that ghost and how it's that, you see, and all of that, then we can get confused about really what is the project. Really, the project is like, it doesn't matter how you see this alarm clock. It's just a stupid, foolish alarm clock. It has only one tune, which is wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. So if you take it to be a robot or a computer program or a stupid doll, mannequin, something, whatever, it doesn't matter. You see, the whole idea is for you to wake up, to wake out of this dream, because the fact is that neither you nor me are here. None of this is just the dream of God, the dream of the one being, which is our reality. So don't try to modify things here, make things come to the right conclusions about things here. Don't worry about any of that. Just wake up. Just wake up. Wake up.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you, Father. I hear you. I heard that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Father, you have given all the pointers, possible pointers, and with all the, and I can assure that I really want to be with God. Despite that, Maya mode comes in, Father, as we talk. So will you?
Maya mode doesn't come in.
Okay.
As long as we keep presenting it as if we are a victim of Maya mode. You say, I really want to be with God. Which is true. I know that. I know you, in your heart, you really want this. So then, don't get tricked when the mind tells you that, oh, but it just happens. Make it happen just by itself. Like you commit in your heart to be only in His light. Now, it's not possible. We are never held hostage. Maya tries to lure us. It cannot put a gun to our head. She can lure us. It's a con artist, no? Con artists don't force you and say, give me all your money. They con you. And Kabirji said that she is a Mahatagni, meaning that she cons you. She doesn't force you. She doesn't compel you. You see, she lures you, she tempts you. He says, yes, God of course is most important. You see, but right now, what about this? There's some narrative which will make itself seem so important, and what we give up for what we don't realize. God Himself is your being, and we give that up for what? Some silly thing. So let it at least work very, very hard. You see? So to lure you in, you see? Let it at least come up with something extraordinary, super special. You see? And don't fall for the same trick twice. If we keep falling for the same trick twice, then our life becomes Groundhog Day. We just keep going in that same loop, and then we just carry the good intentions, but we don't have the fire in our commitment to let go of her. So it's needed. Sometimes it seems very difficult, because if you feel like you've been wronged, it's very tempting to believe attack thoughts, to believe defense thoughts, to prove yourself to be right, to take justice in your own hands. You see? These things are very important to remember, that let all justice be God's. You see? So when I say that we must really take ourselves to be beggar servants, whatever is left of me, may that only be a beggar servant. That will help us in such a deep way, you see, from the lures of the mind. Because the mind tempts us with specialness, pride, I am so good, I am better, I am more spiritual, I have seen God, I have all of this, you see. Nothing. We are not better than anybody at all. And if you get trapped in the Advaita trap, which is that I don't exist at all, therefore I'm special, which part you're not saying, the second part. No? So if it is true that you don't exist and you mean it, then you're empty, it's fine. You see? But because that gets connected to specialness, that is the spiritual ego, that becomes trouble. So don't take yourself to be better than any brother or sister in this world. It may seem to be disconnected from the question, but actually it is very, very important. Let's go to Clarissa first.
Hello, Anandaji.
Hello,
Thank you. What Kaisha said is here also. My life situation changed completely. I'm living now with my parents, and it's very challenging for me. And I have a new job, and this is also really challenging. And I can see that that there is so much ego and fear coming up, and pressure. And when Kaisha spoke, I felt that when the pressure goes, the fear comes.
Yeah. So, thank you. I appreciate the question. Let's frame it so that it correlates with what is the project of Satsang. What is it that we are trying to do in Satsang? And let's frame the question from that perspective.
To come to the inside of God, and be with God.
Yes, to come to the insight of God's presence and to live in the light of His presence. Yes. So, how would you reframe your question now?
How can I be with God during the day? Doesn't matter where I am.
So, in this way, and it may seem like it is only semantics that we are changing, but actually, if you take this to be your true question and actually make God at the center of the story, is it? If there is going to be a story, the best story is that which has God as the principal character, the main character. Of course, best is to not have a story at all. Then God's light is shining throughout, uninterrupted, unimpeded. But if there is going to be a story, then let that be a story of the bhakta, which means that the devotee is only troubled by the fact that his life is not 100% spent in God's light, in God's love, in God's presence. So, is that what you really want? Or is that a way to get peace or happiness or absence of suffering?
Seems that is a way to get peace and
Yes, yes,
be free from suffering.
yes, my child. So that is why it is important to correct this perspective, because the one that we want all of these things for, you see, then that is the false one. And then even in the spiritual search, we continue to give nourishment to the idea of this false one, who should find a way to come to some peace. Are you able to hear what I'm saying?
In the middle, I wasn't, but at the end, I come back and
Let me repeat, because it is important. No, it is important. So, if God becomes a mechanism for me to get peace or a life of happiness or free from suffering, you see, then that would be fine if this me was actually a reality. But because this me is not a reality, and the only reality is God and His light, you see, therefore to keep Him at the center of the narrative is a step up from keeping the me at the center of the narrative. And as you explore this more and more, you will realize that I've put it across very simply, but this has the power to transform our entire life. When we remove the false one from the center, you see, and put the true one at the center, then our life really transforms into a worthy life, a life of devotion to God, of true self-knowledge and insight. See? So then our insight doesn't become, oh, I want it so that I can be peaceful. So see, it's like saying, I want to get rid of the me so that me can be peaceful, which is like consuming the poison and taking the antidote at the same time. What's going to happen? It will seem like a treadmill, you see? And most in modern spirituality seem to be on this treadmill, you see? Because me wanting freedom so that me can be peaceful, you see? So he's saying, okay, when will I come to peace? Maybe I need to have a deeper insight so that I can come to more peace, you see? So we must make God at the center of whatever narrative we have, you see? And if it is not possible for us, like our temperament is so opposed to that kind of life, then we must make the truth the center of our story. Everything must be about what is real. what is true. You see? And even from that perspective, the false one wanting peace or a life of absence of suffering is not possible, because me itself is the cause of suffering. It is never another, it is never our life circumstances, it is never about who else is in front of us and what our situation is. The only cause of suffering always is me. So, and this me is the lie, is the ultimate con job. So, make either truth or God, which are ultimately the same thing. You see, Satyam and Shivam are the same thing. So, make them the center of everything. If you make all of this about me, then you must focus on the inquiry and ask yourself, who is this me? Who is this me that I want to make peaceful?
I do this, and I recognize that it it uh, that this I can be seen, and there must be something which sees this I, but then the mind starts, and it's so easily caught in the mind game.
Okay. So, who are you?
I don't know.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So, I was hoping for a sincere answer, which I'm grateful I got. So, thank you for that. So, this I don't know, you see, is very important, you see, because it is truer than I am a person, I am this me. To admit that I don't know who I am is the first step towards true knowledge. You see? So from me to I don't know is a much more difficult process than from the I don't know to the true self-knowledge. That is much easier if you approach it with that innocence. So if you don't know who you are, then who is the story about?
And be about the person.
So that story was about a me, but we don't know who that me is. We must first find out who that is, isn't it? You see? So either we make God the central character of our narrative, the central being of our narrative, or we investigate the nature of the me. Both will lead us to the same point. You see? So already you made a good start by checking and confirming that I don't know. And we spend our whole life catering to this me without knowing who this me is. And that has to change. Isn't it important for that to change? We must find out who is this me? Or if it is more natural for us, we must make everything about God. You can start whichever way based on your temperament and what resonates with you, but both will come to the same point. whoever
Yes,
you're going to be concerned
excuse me.
about, you see, whoever you're going to be concerned about, you must know who that is. Isn't it?
Mhm. Yes.
And so then, if you endeavor to find out, if you have a pure intention to find out, I'm going to find out who I am, then don't leave that. You see? Then stick with it. Dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper till you hit the water of self-knowledge.
I need your help.
I'm here. I'm always here.
Mm,
Always here to help.
mm,
But I'm here to help. You have to do the work.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Bless you. Very good. Okay, let's go to Shanti, who can't really speak because mom is asleep next to her. But she just wants to come up and say hi. Very good. I've been reading your messages that you post in the satsangs, and very good. It's very good. Keep going like this. Bless you always. Bless you always. All my love, all my blessing, always. We love you. Thank you. It's better if the mic is on. I tried to make it louder by keeping it closer, but maybe it had the opposite effect. This is better? Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Samya.
Hello, Father.
Hello, my dear.
Oh,
Is it cold?
sorry, Father. Just
Don't worry. Don't. Mhm.
feel like recently I want to share something with you, which not like I was hiding, but I did not share for so long, and I didn't feel any need to share actually. But recently, I don't know, I feel like maybe I want to just share it because it's just like an expose, so that's why just so many things happening in my body, and
Yes.
maybe I just need to say it and then we can see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like sharing it publicly. Is it okay that I like, do I have to share it publicly or?
I have no idea what you're going to say, so I can't predict. What is the sense you have? You can write to me if you like, or you can share here whatever you feel.
I prefer to say it privately.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine too.
Okay, thank you. Because
Welcome.
I have no idea where it will go, so
Yeah.
I don't want to put so much pressure on me. And
Yes.
thank you.
I understand. Yes.
Thank.
Okay, let's go to Saskia.
Hey, Father.
Hello.
I really want this life to be for God.
Yeah.
And each day, each moment, I set a reminder in my phone. So at 6 a.m. I have a reminder, how can I make this day about God? Sorry, there's a fighter jet going over. And I stay in bed till I feel able to get up, connected to God. But I still fritter away so much of the day, and very much in concerns about body. So eating and lots of exercise and more eating and more exercise. And what I'm saying in my head is very different from what I'm doing with my time.
So, okay. We don't have to make a linkage between the outer activities which may be flowing and whether we are inwardly connected with God or not. So, exercising may happen, eating may happen, but that doesn't take us inwardly away from God's light. So I'm not saying that when I'm saying that we must live all the time in His light, I'm not saying that our life must now become empty of activity. I'm just saying that all activity can also be allowed to flow from His will. All movement can happen according to His will. So we'll remain empty, like I'm very happy to hear firstly that you have that reminder on your phone, and also that you start your day and you don't get out of bed till you come to his presence. Then already with such a auspicious start, what you should do is, then if God's presence is there, then allow him to move you and to guide you in everything. So move towards the exercise or the eating or whatever activity only when he moves you or he guides you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying I'm not doing yet.
Yeah. And all of us are learning. Can I say that all 100% of my day goes like that? I cannot say yet. I'm also learning. Because that is the primal human condition, to just rush and go to living on the mind's terms rather than waiting for God to move us in everything. He has not said that I will take care of just the important things or just the big things according to our mind. He wants us to follow His will in everything, and He's available for us to follow His will in everything. So all of us are learning this, and we must continue to bring this to our attention, bring this to our focus, so that we learn to live in a deeper faith, in a deeper love, so that the temptations of the mind to go its own way don't seem that natural or compelling. Then our whole life becomes a satsang, because in the company of the truth, in the company of God, our life is satsang.
And I've really noticed that when my mind feels very busy, I don't really hear God.
Yeah. But you'll notice that as you deprive the mind of belief, then even the mutterings of the mind don't seem to take up all our attention and space. You see, they become that which seems so loud and needing so much attention, then becomes very minor whispers. It seems like some slight energy passing through you rather than a real voice speaking to you authoritatively.
I'm sorry, I'm just a bit distracted by the fighter jets going over. They just train around here.
That there? Distracted by?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
The fighter jets.
Oh, fighter jets, yes.
They practice flying. Yeah, they practice flying between the mountains.
I see, okay. They do that practice flying here also sometimes. I don't know if you heard when you were here in Bangalore, but there's a small runway close by and they practice here also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's true. So that's why I don't hear them, because I'm so used to them. The mind becomes like that. You don't hear it much because you just allow it to come and go. It doesn't mean anything.
I didn't want to just sit here and pretend that I'm fully following your every word.
Very good, very good.
But I want to.
That's very important. That's very important. Because if you said you were, I'm not buying it anyway. You see? If you said you were, I'm not buying it. So, but I appreciate the integrity to say that Yes, I know he's here, but this tempter still manages to tempt me. And that's what you're working on, and that's important.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very good, very good. Bless you. Thank you. Let's go to Divan. Hello. Namaste. Namaste.
Yeah, I'm definitely not always like empty. So
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely always open and empty.
no, not always.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized that the mind, was coming to say, you've already spoken to him inside, so it's just done. There's no point going to speak to him outside. But yeah, it's just
But I have to say, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're speaking to the one outside also. But I have to say that the one on the inside is much better.
yeah,
Much.
it is this like so much like love and so much like sometimes like sometimes like it's just feeling like the whole environment, and it's I realize like when I'm interacting with like for example like let's say like with a classmate, the because they are relating to you as a shape, so because like they don't really know about like this. It's still something watches like the shape, like the sense of like being like someone coming and
Yeah.
speaking to like
Yeah.
even I realize or even when like sometimes I get caught up on this stuff, like let's say the memory, the imagery of myself comes, but this love is still there. It's like it's, I just I feel like your words like you have activated something inside where I don't feel like I ever forget God.
Very good.
It's
Very good.
like
That's very
it's like I just always have the feeling that the feeling that he's always here,
yes. Yes. Yes.
like this
So happy.
formless reality that like even before the body was made, like there's some things which like words can't really explain. And I somehow have a sense that the reason why I somehow came into manifestation was to like know this like I, I'm grateful to Papa Moji as well because
Yes.
he was able to like bypass my arrogance. It's like his words, I remember like the first time which I saw him like on like a YouTube video, and although the video was like an old video, it wasn't even live, but he looked at the camera and it's like he's like you're in the gate of heaven and you're
Yeah.
contemplating should I go in or not. He just pulled me in
Yeah.
and then closed the door.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
But still, like there was still something which, like I told you about, like
Yeah.
the shape of God, and even like with Jesus Christ, because of like the imagery, I was only relating to him in the form. Like how we're brought up, like they don't really go that deep, even in like they don't really go that far, but the somehow through your words, something was able to let go of the concept about God. and to see that like it's limitless, it's like every like in whatever dimension you go to, like it's still pure and it is supreme. It's like I feel like this like yeah. Sometimes I just feel like I'm just on my bed and I'm just like just so grateful. And my heart is just so full of so much like love and so much joy. It's like
Yes. Yes. I can see
so
that. I can see
immense.
that. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Very
I'm
good.
just so grateful.
Very good. Very good.
Because I always speak to you inside. Yeah.
I'm very happy, and the only job of this one that appears on the outside is to enable that meeting on the inside. And I'm just a servant to that one. I'm very happy that the true meeting can happen for you in this way. Very good, very good. Bless you, bless you.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to come because I just detected a thought. I didn't want it to like some shape to be formed and this type of thing. I just felt to just come around.
It's very good also to spot this, because the mind will also use this. You see, it tries to use everything. So it will
Yes.
use this and say, but you have him on the inside. Why do you have
Yeah.
to come up on the out and speak to him on the outside? But it's still good that you came, because the mind will try to create these barriers and distinctions where they are none. It'll try to get you to take a position about meeting the Sadguru presence within, instead of in whichever way that he is available to you. So don't take either position, and let your heart guide you moment to moment. And then the mind, otherwise this simple trick may start off innocently enough, you see. It may start off innocently enough, but tomorrow it'll try to sell you some pride. And day after it'll tell you you don't need to come to satsang because he's there on the inside. You see, so it goes through all of this very easily, and before you know it, you may get caught up in any of that. So I'm glad you didn't fall for the mind's trick, and you continue to follow your heart, which is very good. Very good.
You know, sometimes Pavamuji, I remember he said like emptiness conquers everything. And when I heard that, it was just like an explosion. Because I wasn't, because I couldn't really understand with the mind, but somehow, so I was only wired to understand what he's speaking about inside. Somewhere, like, even when you're speaking about something recognizes it, maybe not intellectual, because the mind is like maybe very scientifically clever. And I also see that so sometimes it's like, oh, it's like, like the clever, that mind, it's still very limited. So it's like it's still it doesn't really understand the thing, but somehow there's like another space where I'm able to hear what you speak of. Although sometimes you like speak, you might speak like Indian language, but I'm still able to understand what you mean.
Yes, yes.
I'm like yes, I know what it means. And when Papa when you spoke about like emptiness conquers everything, it didn't really like make sense until when I began to see it, because it's like I felt like I used to think like that the person was like a real like tangible entity.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing that it's just like like a force. Like even conditioning is like a force. Like or maybe let's say you'd be very happy and then the thought just comes like in the very so you start like take a shape and to be all this sort of thing. It's like it's, I'm just so grateful, like, and I also feel like the grace, and a true understanding of like, it's like how God first, even in like visions, Jesus was like an image, you know. But then I saw, and the image was always changing. But now I'm seeing, I saw now like that spa- that space in which the actual beingness itself, like the one beingness, the one consciousness that never dies, that
Yes.
is in all dimensions is there. And even this, like something knows. It's like this is still knowing of this, and yet there's no words.
Yes. So I would say that completely agree with everything you're saying, but I would just add to that and say that it is possible to meet God at every level. Mhm. And the subtler it gets, the more non-phenomenal it gets, the closer it is to reality and the absolute truth. But also don't become wary of any way of meeting him, of being pointed to him. So in India, for example, we have a tradition of putting up the master's photos on the walls and various expressions of the one God, which we have also, each expression we've given some holy names to, we put their photos on the wall. So one way to look at it simply is that love him with all your might, with mind, body, soul, everything. So how to meet him at the body level? So don't be averse to any of the images. They're just pointers that point you to his holy presence within. So there's no harm if you have a favorite image of him in whatever way that you like. It couldn't hurt, because if it becomes just about that, then maybe yes. But because the image is just now a pointer, just like the words of Satsang, it's a reminder. So then that pointer is auspicious. Then in the same way, um, we can meet him at the level of the mind, in the form of prayer, in the form of chanting, which itself takes us deeper into the heart, which then brings us to the holy presence within. And there, of course, we're just naturally communing with him. And even remaining in the heart, sometimes the heart brings many scenes, visuals, appearances to your vision, and we can enjoy those, but we are not to get attached to them in any way. You see, they don't have any sort of dichotomy saying that
Yeah,
meet him
the
wherever
mind
you
likes
can,
to do that.
in
Yeah,
whatever way you can find him, meet him. You see, so if it's going
yeah,
to be a child just sent me yesterday, she sent me a beautiful cross, which is made in Jerusalem, and the rosary is made out of the wood of the olive trees in Jerusalem, and such a beautiful rosary. So I loved it, and it's such a beautiful image, such a beautiful reminder in this realm of Maya. These wake up calls are very beautiful to receive. So I'm very happy to meet him in any way that I can. So
and
those, yeah,
it's true what you say because like I remember like when I was in like secondary school, um, it's very strange because although that time I didn't even know anything about like this
yeah,
thing, but I used to like feel like sometimes like just emptiness, but I didn't know like the word for
yeah,
like emptiness and all of that. And I remember even and because I was still like it was still in the shape of um in the shape of which I was relating to Jesus. And sometimes I just like pray to like God and like for maybe like exams or some kind of thing like that. And miracles used to happen. But even then when I didn't know like this deeper aspect, like this I always think of that at every level I can relate to God is true because it's like sometimes even like my ignorance and even arrogance as well, like I'm still blessed somehow. I don't know, it's like I just feel somehow that I was like uh, something was destined to like just hear your words. This I know. Thank you.
Very good, my child. All my love, all my blessings.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Let's go to Nandini.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste, my child.
Jai Sitaram ji.
Jai Sitaram. Yes.
I wanted to come up in previous satsang so many times, but something was stopping me. Today I couldn't resist.
Good.
I have nothing to share and ask, but I wanted to talk to you.
Acha. Good. What is your favorite topic of conversation?
ADS.
Good. That's my favorite too.
I went to Vrindavan yesterday and I visited Neem Karoli Baba's temple.
I see.
And I'm doing the Ramji's prayer.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
So I could do it from my heart, and I was praying him to bless me with devotion.
Yeah. Look like it worked, no? Or no?
And whatever is left, I'm not able to see that clearly. I can't differentiate sometimes if it's coming from heart or mind. So I want not I, but
Okay, it's okay. Speak normally, it's fine. What do you want?
I want to make the difference. I want to see the difference, whether it's coming from heart or mind.
So sometimes you get some guidance or prompting, but you feel that you're not able to distinguish whether it is the mind posing as the heart. You see, because the
Yes.
mind can act very well also.
Yes.
And it can act like the heart, or whether it is truly coming from the heart.
Yes.
So I've given 3 tools for us to be able to check on that. And the tools go from the most gross to the most subtle. You see? And the most gross one is the one that we can still be tricked by, and the most subtle one is the most foolproof way to check. So, but first, like I say always, that if your intention truly is to follow God's will, then even if you get tricked by the mind, then God will turn that into grace. So we don't have to worry about that. If your intention truly is to live in His light, to follow His will, then even if the mind pulls a great trick and you fall for that, it'll be taken care of, because it is your intention to follow the heart which is most important. Okay, so having said that, the first test is that when you're being guided by your heart, you may sense the presence of an unconditional love. You may sense that there's a natural loving guidance which is being received. So you have to sense the presence of this unconditional love. Although the mind will also try to act as if it is being very loving, it may even say, "Oh, my dear child, this is what you have to do," but your nose will become sensitive to its tricks. You see, you can smell that it's trying to push, actually. It's trying to rush you into it. So pushing, rushing, grasping, all is its smell, its stink. You see? So the more you contemplate this, you will start to notice it more clearly, that the mind is always trying to hurry you into it. It's trying to hide its authoritativeness. You see, like you see some people, they're trying to be very bossy, but they're trying to put it in words which are very like sweet sounding and like that. So it tries to do that. Okay? As opposed to the heart where you senses just like a comfortable, holy love in his presence. You just feel like, if you go to Vrindavan, for example, you go to any of these holy places, you get a sense of there's a holiness about it, like a loving presence where you feel at home, you feel comfortable. So it's like that. That's the first method to check. The second method is whether you can, your presence, the presence of the Sadguru within, the presence of the Holy Spirit within is apparent to you. And if it is apparent to you, that means you're being intuitive and the guidance is coming from there. So it literally feels as if the guidance is coming from a different source, completely different from the mental level. You can, because the presence is apparent to you, and it's the presence which is speaking or it is guiding you. So it has a different texture, a different light to it. And the highest and the subtlest tool is to check whether the reality of yourself, which is completely non-phenomenal, completely nirguna, is apparent, and that self-knowledge is present as you're being guided in that way. Now, the human condition is very limited. It cannot be intuitive and mental at the same time. You see? So if the reality, the absolute reality is apparent to you, and the guidance is still flowing through, then you can trust that you're being intuitive and not mental. You can trust that to be heart guidance. So you can start with whichever one seems most comfortable to you, whichever one you seem to resonate with the most. Even if you start with just, am I truly feeling the presence of unconditional love as this guidance is being received? Even that is a good enough place to start. And as you deepen in your ADS, as you deepen in your prayer and your chanting, and you keep deepening in your love for Ram, all this will become more and more natural to you. You'll start living from your heart, and your life will be so heartfelt. And then the voice of the mind will seem alien. It will seem like, ये कौन है? ये कहाँ से आ गया? उसको निकालो यहाँ से. It will seem very natural to live like that. So keep going like this. Keep deepening in your devotion and love to God. All will be taken care of. There's a question
Need
too.
your blessing.
Like,
Sorry, Father.
look, your eyes were looking like there's a question 2 also coming after this.
2?
No?
No, not yet.
All my love, all my blessings.
Thank you, Father.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you. Let's go to Helena.
Hello.
Hello, my dear.
I just wanted to reach out to you. I felt like I had to today. I spent some days in a convent with a Zen retreat,
I see.
and I used very much Muji's last exercise to stay full on on the being and on the awareness, and it was very, very felt very good to do. And but when I came home yesterday, I had quite a shock of the identification with the mind again. It really shocked me. So I just felt I needed to reach out for you today because I want to keep on. Yeah, I don't want to get off track.
Very good.
Felt like, yeah.
So what's good is that you were able to see the contrast and it hit you immediately. You noticed the distinction between living empty, living in pure perception versus getting caught up in the mind again. And of course the mind waits for opportunities like that. You just finished the retreat and you came back home, and the mind wanted to express its superiority and say, I'm still here, and grab you as soon as you were out of the retreat, sort of situation. But the good thing is that it is apparent that you did not get fully caught in the mind, because if you were fully caught in the mind, then you would be busy today saying, I have so much to do, I have these things to manage, all this is there. You see, so you're not caught up to that extent. So you still manage to come to satsang. You manage to recognize that it is trying to trick you back into its old ways. You see? So I'm very happy that you noticed that. Now, what you have to do is just continue moment to moment and thought by thought. Moment to moment. Forget about what happened yesterday, what happened earlier in the day. Just now, start fresh. And I hope this pointing is in continuation with your Zen retreat anyway. So just allow it to be like that. Don't think any more about the thoughts which tried to grab you yesterday. Don't think more about the mind also. Just that is the two punch of the mind. I don't know if you've heard me talk about that. So first it tempts you, then it knocks you out with the guilt and unworthiness. It'll say your retreat is wasted and it's not really working. You see, it try to tempt you with that kind of thing, and that has a much longer shelf life, much longer residue when these kind of things get our belief. So nothing is lost. It looks like, I can tell that you had a good retreat. Nothing is lost. Just return fresh now. Return to the pure perception. Return to the emptiness, empty watching that you were doing. And don't worry. If it tempts you once in a while, just leave it behind. Start fresh again. Leave it behind. Start fresh again. There is nobody who doesn't get caught up, at least in something. So you don't have to worry about perfection. Don't have to worry about 100%. Just what is important is now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Very, very good. Bless you. Oh, my love.
Thank you.
Okay, last one we go to Sepi. Namaste.
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 Just wanted to come up on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And I may forget sometimes, but if I can speak from the heart now, just by meeting my Guruji and you and so many beautiful enlightened beings, just to hear their words in this lifetime, my life is fulfilled. If I may die today, my life is fulfilled because of this. God blessed me. And I just want to say also that I so much love my Sangha. I so much respect their path. So much respect their looking inside at themselves. So less people are doing this, so little of us, few of us are doing this. I just want to express my love for my Sangha and for my master, for just, even if I make so many mistakes every time and time again, Anantaji, I will never give up on God. I will never give up on this. And I used to think that it will be something happening and enlightenment will come. But I am seeing that it's a moment to moment, and every second of looking and remembering God and staying with this and making mistakes and get up again and again and again.
Yeah.
And it's none of my business what happens with that or where it is going. Is just, I have to stay with this all my life. As long as I breathe, I have to stay with this. And I just want to thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to say it, how much I love you.
Oh, thank you. You're very welcome, and I'm deeply touched by your report. And yes, this is very beautiful. That I leave my I hand over my life to him. It is his business. Even my freedom is his business. My job is just moment to moment to be with him, to live in his light, to follow his will. That is my job. And I recognize that I fail from time to time, but I try again to get up and to try again to be with him. And I'm willing to do that till my last breath, because he is the only one that is worth living for. So I'm deeply touched to hear you, and bless you so much. May this be so. May all that is the highest be yours. May God bless you so much. Very good. Very happy.
Thank you so much.
You see, when with integrity, we can commit like that, without an expectation of finality or something special happening. That is very touching to me. And that, with that kind of servitude, with that kind of love for God, insight is bound to come, is bound to the reality of God's light and the Absolute. Cannot be hidden from one who dedicates to be in service their entire life. It is my blessing that if it is His grace, may it be so. Bless you, my child. Bless you. All right. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Guru Kripa Kevalam.